Imagine yourself waking up each morning, not knowing if your body is going to let you function. Imagine waking up in so much pain that you don't want to move, feeling as if your body is fighting against you every single day of your life. Sometimes wanting to give up and no longer wanting to live. Suffering in silence every day because no one seems to understand what you're going through. This is the reality of an individual with lupus. This is my mom. She was diagnosed with lupus 15 years ago. When we first got the diagnosis, we believed that this was the end, that there was no way out, and that her life was essentially over. That diagnosis had affected her lifestyle as well as her relationships, causing her to lose one of her kidneys, as well as develop a wide variety of different ailments. We had thought we were doomed and my mother would never live a productive, healthy life. Even if you don't have lupus or know anyone with lupus, you may have felt the symptoms. Well, think about a time you were ill, like having a cold or flu, and in recent years, the coronavirus. Think about how it made you feel. The fatigue, the headaches, the excruciating pain, doing your best to breathe. These are the symptoms an individual with lupus suffers from on a daily basis. I'm here to help you give more information about this disease and what steps you can take to help spot the signs of lupus, as well as the treatments that may help you or someone you may know cope with lupus diagnosis. Today we will be going over what is lupus, what are the symptoms of lupus, and what are some ways to help treat the symptoms of lupus. What is lupus? The National Institute of Arthritis and Musculoskeletal and Skin Disease defines lupus as a chronic autoimmune disease that can affect many parts of your body. Lupus occurs when the immune system begins to attack its own tissue, meaning when your body begins to attack itself, causing a variety of issues, even creating more conditions such as arthritis and fibromyalgia. Anyone can develop lupus, but it seems more commonly developed in women than in men. More specifically between 15 and 45, but it is still possible to develop lupus disease earlier and later on in life. An important note is that lupus affects each gender differently. Males can develop symptoms more rapidly, and the symptoms can be more severe. This also causes males with lupus to have shorter lifespans than females. This does not apply to all cases, but to most. The Lupus Foundation of America has also made the observations that lupus can occur in specific families, and that certain gene variations have been linked to lupus. Not stating that lupus is truly hereditary, but that it is a higher possibility that if a family member has lupus, that it's possible that another family member may develop lupus as well. What are the symptoms of lupus? When it comes to lupus, the main symptoms and the most noticeable is the rash that develops on a person's nose and underneath the eyes, creating a very distinct shape to which we now refer to as the butterfly rash. Sadly, that's only the beginning. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, an individual with lupus can experience a wide variety of symptoms, including muscle and joint pain, fever, rashes, chest pain, hair loss, sun and light sensitivity, kidney problems, mouth sores, prolonged extreme fatigue, anemia, memory problems, blood clotting, and eye disease. All but one of these symptoms I've had to watch my own mother develop over time, which causes her to sleep for long periods of time, as well as keeping her isolated. One symptom that isn't mentioned is the fact that my mother has developed depression due to these symptoms, which in turn causes each of these symptoms to affect her even more. The only relief she has is knowing that she's kept her hair through all of it. Seeing it happen to someone you love is not only heartbreaking, but earth-shattering. What are some of the ways to help treat people with lupus? Now, before we move on to this point, you must understand there is no cure for lupus. This is a disease that will inevitably take someone's life. Although there's no cure, an individual can help treat some of the symptoms so that they can still live a happy, productive life. The Lupus Foundation of America has listed some medications that can help reduce the pain and inflammation of lupus, including opioids, steroids, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. According to my mom, sometimes these medications create more side effects in the long run and are worse than the symptoms of lupus themselves. The CDC has made some suggestions to help an individual cope with lupus and its effects. Well, learn how to tell when a lupus flare-up is coming, so you can take the steps to be more comfortable. 2, see your doctor on a regular basis so they can monitor the lupus progression. 3, limit your time in the sun under fluorescent and halogen lights. 4, sleep and rest as much as possible. And one of the most important things you can do is create a support system within your family and friends. Just the understanding that you have someone there for you is sometimes enough to help you cope with the symptoms. I will also state that therapy for your mental health is advised. Since most individuals with lupus isolate themselves from the world, they begin to become mentally unstable, believing they have no one other than themselves to know what's going on, or even feel lost and disoriented. Regardless of your feelings regarding depression, please never hesitate to reach out to these individuals. See how you can help them or find someone who can. For you may be the only lifeline people have, and ignoring these things can result in catastrophic issues. Now that you understand what lupus is, what the symptoms of lupus are, and what are some ways you can help treat the symptoms of lupus, you are ready to go out and utilize this information to help you be more prepared to handle what is to come. Whether it is to be more empathetic towards someone suffering from lupus, or to notice the signs and symptoms so that if you have concerns for yourself or another individual, you can go and get examined by a physician to get an early diagnosis, which will help prepare yourself for the road ahead. I've had to watch my mom for many years go through this disease, and it has caused me so much heartache ever since this diagnosis. Even though this disease has changed how she lives, it has never stopped her. My mom is here to tell you today herself.
This disease does not define me. I've chosen to lose this disease and to fight.
I love you, Mom.